I could talk all day about this, but I think, the world we living in today is more selfish, especially as kids grow older to college, to the NFL. It's a little bit more selfish just from a standpoint of like NIL, great tool for college, like it's a blessing, but it's more business in college, which leads it to be more business in high school. You know what I'm saying? From a young age, so I feel like to that point, represent the name on the back of the jersey. For me, it never really was about, I'm keeping it real, it never really was about money, to be honest. It never really was about necessarily fame. It was about like impact and respect, not only from others, but from myself, respecting myself, respecting, you know what I mean? Like being proud of, not only the film, but being proud of the man I'm becoming while having a great football career and extending that career as long as I possibly can.
Folks, we've got another incredible episode here during the off season. I got to tell you, I've been super excited about this conversation for about 6 months now. But let me say this. If you follow football in the state of Michigan, if you follow football in the Midwest, if you just follow football, and you know anything about the University of Michigan Wolverines and the incredible history and legacy of some of the greatest players that came out of that program, I'm going to tell you, look, so this is the first conversation I'm going to start with some stats. I have always said the name before the stat, but I'm going to say this one. Senior season, 136 tackles, 19 tackles for a loss, probably 21-22. I don't know about the stats these days. 12 and a half sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. And I just realized when he came in this morning that I'm twice his age. I'm here with my man, Josh Ross, Ravens linebacker number 51. Josh, welcome to the show.
Man, I appreciate you for having me. It's a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's been a few months coming. I want to give a big shout out to my guy, Johnny Hamoud at Net Sports Management, one of the top stories in professional sports representation today. And I get to be spoiled and blessed that Johnny's just down the road from me here in Southeast Michigan. So want to say thank you to Johnny for putting this conversation together. And blessings to you and Naya. Incredible. Wedded about a month ago, yes?
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that day.
Yeah, the day was special, man. I mean, so going into this off season, proposed. We went to this hotel Airbnb that's like, what we do. Beaches is what we do right off the beach, right off the water. And we went to see the sunrise at the beach. Took her down. She had her hoodie on, all the way up, mad. I don't want to go. And I'm like, let's just go. Let's just do it. So we took some chairs down there, went down there. I was looking at my clock. It was about 6:43. The sunrise in about 2 more minutes. I'm like, all right, bet. Took a knee, did it there. It was private. It was intimate. And then we went on from there. Got married about a month and a half ago. Got legally married. And now, we're going to have our wedding ceremony down the line, about 2-3 years down the line. And, the rest is history for sure.
That's beautiful. Congratulations to you and Naya. And Naya, appreciate having you here with us today. It means a lot that you carved out time. Look, I've been following the story since I moved to Michigan. I think I shared with you as we were getting to know each other a little bit. Our family got to move here about 7.5 years ago. And Orchard Lake St. Mary's is the school that their football field is the first football field that my 14-year-old son, Atlas, today had competed on in his life here in the state of Michigan. And so incredible school, just blown away by it. And I want to get to that part of the conversation because you and your brother, you guys are huge names there. There's so much love and respect for what you did on that field on behalf of that school. But talk to me about your childhood. You were born in Southfield. Tell us a little bit about the things that stand out the most to you today and are a part of who you are today as a man.
Yeah, definitely. So born in Southfield, about 5 to 10 minutes away from here, 10 Mile in Greenfield. Raised in a 2-parent household with me and my brother as the only siblings. My brother James Ross, he's 5.5 years older than me, so he just turned 30 on June 26th a couple days ago. So I had to let him know, you getting old, dude.
The youth of America, man. I can't wait to see him tomorrow.
No doubt, no doubt. And like, dude, it was one of those childhoods as a kid where, my older brother was always really, really good at sports, always real physical on the field, always kind of like paved the way for me. And as like a kid, it was just like, number one, losing in the video game, losing to him all the time, like kind of brewed that competitive spirit, that competitive nature in me, starting since I was like 5 years old playing the game with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If I beat you in a game, you never play my game again. All right, bet. Lose, start crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just from that start, just that competitive edge, that competitive nature, and then kind of transitioning more into as, getting into that tween to preteen age. And him just kind of coaching me, you know what I mean? Coaching me, drilling me. He played linebacker for Michigan. So, like, it always was. And a lot of times when I talk about my brother a lot. But he sparked that competitive edge in me when I was a kid of, like, I want to beat whoever's around me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to win. Like, I want to, if we working out, I want to beat the guy next to me in a workout, because my brother used to always beat me, when we get back home. You know what I mean? So, like, growing up, it's kind of like, he sparked that competitive edge. And as I got older, got a little bit more athletic, hit my little 5-inch growth spurt when I was in 6th grade. It was on it, it was on it popping. So going into, of course, high school, going to St. Mary's. St. Mary's is like a beautiful, not only is it a beautiful school, but just like the type of men that are created out of St. Mary's, out of a UOD Jesuit, out of that Catholic League, you know what I mean, that division. That structure is what I needed, I was always really like active as a kid, really like, I moved a lot, I talked a lot, I laughed a lot, I did a lot. And what I needed as a kid was structure. I needed, to go to mass 2 times a week. I needed to wear a shirt and tie, wear a suit. Like I needed to, have rules and regulations, that, kind of made me who I am today. So St. Mary's, not only beautiful school, got the red turf, doing all the things, but like, as a man, just the structure, you know what I mean? Everything that goes into, the day-to-day. It literally made me, one of the biggest reasons I am who I am today because of going to, a high school like St. Mary's. So
we spoke a little bit about the journey to St. Mary's. We spoke about some schools that you went and visited. Can you share with our listeners a little bit about maybe the conversations that were happening within your home that had your family wondering, hey, is this the place for Josh? Is this the place for his brother? Should we start thinking about where we are going to send these 2 beautiful young boys to become men?
No doubt. So I know it started with my older brother. Definitely a lot of conversations, like my dad, my mom, my brother, and, going into, so he went to middle school at East Middle School. And at the time, you had Devin Funches, you had Mario Ojemudia,
my Lord.
And then you had my brother James Ross that went to the same middle school, which was unique, As a kid, I, going to their basketball games, trying to see my brother play basketball. It was hilarious, but it was really, really live, all those athletes. So Harrison was the top spot at the time for my brother going into high school. To be honest, I don't know the real reason he went to St. Mary's. I know they took visits. I know it was great. But as he went to St. Mary's and had the career he had, coming up, especially like I went to UOD for 7th and 8th grade. I really didn't really see myself anywhere else than St. Mary's just because, like, honestly, I wanted to be better, I wanted to be better than he was. And it wasn't like this or that. It was just like a friendly, loving, tough love, brother type of love.
Yes.
But I wanted to follow in his footsteps and, have a great career at St. Mary's. I wanted to, I always was up there. Allen Robinson was one of his closest friends at the time when he was in high school. So, like, him coming over the crib, like, always used to, be trying to play the game with them and be trying to be in the mix. And my brother, like, dude, get away from me. But honestly, though, like, I always just kind of wanted to follow those footsteps. Just being at the school all the time. It's kind of a similar story to Michigan for me. Like, I really didn't see myself going anywhere else just because just always on campus. So many roots from family. My dad is like, when you meet that dude at the camp, like, he's one of the biggest Michigan fans all the time. He might be wearing a Michigan jersey with 12 with Ross on the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he was always like the biggest Michigan fan ever. So it was just one of those things, like making that dude proud, making my dad proud, you know, following in my brother's footsteps, carrying the legacy was always real important to me. You know, I always was a loyal person. So, like, you know, following those footsteps, you know, leaving that foundation, that 8-year foundation that St. Mary's that the Ross family had, and then Michigan, that 8-year foundation, it just kind of, honestly, thinking back, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer for me. But at the time, it was just like, I'm going there, you know. But now it's like, I wanted to carry that legacy on and, you know, have that Ross name be something that people look back and remember, for sure.
What do you think people think about when they hear the Ross name? I mean, I know what I hear. And obviously, you know, I think that's why, you know, I've been sending you nothing but positive vibes and flowers since we started interacting, because I'm like, man, who are these boys? Like, this is, what an incredible story. What do you think the rest of the people think about when they
Yeah, I think the number one, top of the list is hard workers, you know.
Yeah.
Guys that's, you know, that's always been known to work their butt off. Whoever has been around, you know, that, like, our family knows how hard we grow, the grit, the adversity. You know, I honestly, not really being the best athletes, not really being the most highly touted players, but always having the work ethic that paved out the way, and we got better each and every single year, no matter what it was. So I see a family that, you know, is very, very hardworking, very, 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 like, you know, when adversity strikes, you know, we always there knocking on the door, no matter if it's good or bad. We always gonna come back up to the plate, and we're gonna step back up and continuing to live out that legacy, dude. I just hope, you know, it's a lot more to remember from the Ross name, like, as, you know, finishing in an NFL career, as my brother excels as a coach, you know, as my family continues to grow, my mom and my dad. I just, you know, it means a lot, you know. It means a lot, the name on the back of the jersey. It means everything. And, you know, it means everything. So
yeah, I love that. I love that you. I love that you're pulling our listeners into the significance that you apply that reaches way further than you and James by the name being on the jersey, right? I like that you're connecting people to the fact that, you know, when my son Atlas has his last name on the back of a jersey, he's playing for more than himself. You know, where do you think that came from? And let me say, the reason I want to dig on this is because I think we're losing that. The idea that a young man knows, when I have my father, my grandfathers, my uncles, my cousin's name on my back, I am representing us all. I think that's going away, and it feels a lot more coming out of that 7-on-7 camp that we were talking about at Wayne State.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of individualism on that field that night.
Yeah. I think, to your point, like, I could talk all day about this, but I think, you know, the world we living in today is more selfish, especially as kids grow older to college, to the NFL. It's a little bit more selfish, just from a standpoint of, like, NIL, great tool for college, like, it's a blessing, but it's more business in college, which leads it to be more business in high school. You know what I'm saying? From a young age, you know. So I feel like, to that point, you know, represent the name on the back of the jersey, for me, it never really was about, I'm keeping it real, it never really was about money, to be honest. It never really was about necessarily fame. It was about, like, impact and respect, you know, not only from others, but from myself, respecting myself, respecting, you know what I mean? Like, being proud of, you know, not only the film, but being proud of the man I'm becoming while having a great football career and extending that career as long as I possibly can. And also, too, like, going into my last year, my 5th year at Michigan, when we made it to the playoffs for the first time, that year was honestly just one of the biggest that was, my brother was a coach at the beginning of my Michigan career, so I kind of still always had him, to help me out. But that was one of the first years where it was only me, and that was the first year I really felt, especially going into the offseason, how hard we worked, how hard we went, but how hard I went as a leader to just holding everybody accountable, and how hard I went to really like make sure, not only just me, Aiden Hutchinson, all the captains, Hassan Haskins, all the captains do, but just how in my mind it's like, we ain't never having that feeling we had COVID going 2-4 again. That ain't happening. So for me, going into that season, just the amount of work that went into it, the amount of work I put into it, the only feeling I had is like, dude, I'm doing this, for my teammates, but I'm also doing this for my family, and how much it means for, for our program, Michigan, to go to the playoffs, how much it means to, excel heights we ain't ever been to before. And then going into the NFL, it's like, I'm the only person in my family that's at this level. So now I gotta ring it out. Now I gotta go hard. Now I gotta, exert everything I possibly can, have balance, know what I mean? Know when to go up, know when to turn it off. But that's really when it clicked for me of like, dude, this is all for the Ross name. It's for my teammates, but it's also for that Ross name, because like I'm the last man standing that's able to play this sport, and it's a blessing. So definitely.
I like some of the connections you made there between, your own personal standard for yourself, right?
No
I'm hearing a lot of, in the words and probably the energetic tonality, but you just have a really simple, clear standard for yourself.
No doubt.
Where do you think you pulled that from? Because I've heard stories about you in high school, and people were like, man, he was amazing. His brother was amazing, right? So it sounds like you had this like high standard for self at a younger age than many others do. Where do you think that came from?
Of course, family. Of course, my father. I'm just being real with you, dude.
Please.
Like, my dad, James Ross. Not my brother's the third. He the second. You know what I mean? And just honestly, his willingness to do things that honestly require a lot of effort from his part, but make it seem as if it don't require no effort to my part. For instance, this dude would be working he'd go to work at 12 p.m., get off at 12 a.m., you know what I'm saying, have a day off the next day, and I'm having, it's the Rivals 250 underclassmen camp, right, in Jacksonville, Florida. Man, I remember, dude, we had a minivan at the time. Me and my friend, we took the second row of the seats out in the minivan. This dude put the TV, so we had a TV in the car. This is when I was like Gamer City. We put the TV in the car. We had the adapter. That was one
of those expensive vans.
It was a Chrysler. It wasn't crazy. It was a Chrysler van. It was a Chrysler minivan.
Yeah.
You just take the second row out. So we had the little adapter that you can plug up, the other plug where you can get the real plug to go into it. And we was laying down. We put like a whole bunch of covers in the back seat, laying down in the back seat, playing the game on our way. And this dude is like, we rolling. This is literally like a 15-hour ride, and he just worked the whole day before. And we get on the road and we rolling. It's normal. Fun. This is like fun for him. But like, I think for me, growing into the age I am now, starting a family, like getting married, and eventually like having kids down the road, like it's just like this willingness to like, for the people I love, this willingness to do whatever. And it really started with my dad, like this willingness to like, whatever it is, all right, bet, we on go, let's get it, you know what I'm saying, we rolling, you know what I mean, well, regardless of, how hard it may seem, but the love, the caringness for others, especially, for family is like everything for me. So, I think that aura like developed from my dad for real, and just how willing he was to pick up whatever and we rolling, whatever it is, we going. If it's Florida, if it's Alabama, if it's here, if it's there, we going to everything, because I want you to be exposed to as much as you possibly can, because he didn't have that when he was younger. You know what I'm saying? A dad that was willing to do that. So I really love that dude and appreciate him for sacrificing as much as he did for me to get to where I'm at, because without him, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't be where I am today,
And the world has evolved from 40 years ago to 20 years ago to 10 years ago. in terms of the opportunities to go and showcase yourself,
Definitely.
within the city, within the state, within the country. So you think about it, because I often thought about that, having multiple brothers and we all grew up playing sports, the difference in like what our father did for us compared to what now we're doing for like Atlas. There's just 1,000 more things we can do for Atlas or for you and your brother.
Yeah.
Right? The times are just different.
It really is.
So I think of, and I'm excited to meet your father tomorrow, but I think of even like when I meet him, and it's going to be like a larger in life moment probably for me. You obviously got your athleticism from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And he probably is a really competitive, driven guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would say, like, and I'll just put this on the air, like, I told you when we first started, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, me and my brother, we never really were the most, especially my brother, like, he was like a little, not, to bash him or anything. It's just the reality. That dude was just, his mindset was off the charts. Like, no, seriously though, like, he wasn't like the fastest. He wasn't fast, but that dude mindset, he couldn't be broke.
Yeah.
He would break, like he would break others. He really couldn't be broke. And for me, like, I just feel like we kind of gained the athleticism from like that process, that work. Him like forcing me to go work out with him, honestly, as a kid, dude, like kind of forcing me to make myself uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I think that's really what pushed me to grow and change and evolve, was just like, my dad, my mom, my brother putting me in uncomfortable positions to force me to grow, because I was always the baby of the family. So, I got babied, but at the same time, it's like putting me in those uncomfortable positions. So, like, I don't have any other choice but to go here.
Yes.
And if I don't go here, you know what I mean? Now it's a battle within myself because I'm so competitive.
Yes.
I got to go here. Like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how it was. Well,
and I think hearing, just knowing that you have a high level of self-awareness for yourself on, I think I can do more. Like, I know I got more than that, right?
Yeah.
And so having a healthy relationship between where you stand today and where your potential lives.
Definitely.
Right? That's powerful. And it's so great to hear you just like energetically, believe in yourself.
No doubt.
So many dreams are lost because of quitting on self.
No doubt.
Right?
No
I
doubt.
love that. St. Mary's to Michigan. I mean, you had, schools I like and dislike on the list of schools that were courting you, right? And I mean from a fan perspective. I grew up watching Notre Dame football, a lot of it being in Chicago. But you had some of the biggest names seeking you at that time. Talk to us again about, was it hard at all? Or was it that like just predetermined that you would follow the path your brother had already blazed for your family?
Yeah, I would say it wasn't hard. My parents never put pressure. My brother never put pressure. It was never one of those. For me, it just was like legacy was just so important to me. Now looking back, legacy was like very, very important to me. And I took one official visit. The only school I might have went to is Notre Dame, but that was for a hot second, My Coach Port loved Notre Dame, you know what I'm saying? I did. I like Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
No, it ain't nothing wrong with Notre Dame, but it was a hot second.
I love Michigan too, man.
Yeah. It's just being real though,
Yeah.
Like Michigan was just like, it was kind of like a no-brainer for me, just from a standpoint of like, I want to carry that legacy. I want the Ross name to be remembered. I want to, compound what my brother did. Like, I want to, like, not only extend it, but I want to top it in ways. You know what I mean? Like, from like a brotherly, loving competition type of thing. Honestly, like, that's just how I was in my head. So, I can't even remember when I committed. I think it was the end of my junior year, going into my senior year. But it was really a no-brainer. I was trying to fight it my first 3 years of college. I was trying to, I don't know if I want to go to just to go against the grain, but it was just like, that's where my heart was, you know what I'm saying? So.
What's your favorite memory from your years in Ann Arbor? What's the one that you keep reliving in your mind that just makes you smile?
Let me sit and think on this one a little bit, because obviously when we played Ohio State, obviously that was, you know what? I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm gonna just leave it with Ohio. When we beat Ohio State, for the first time, snowy game.
Yeah.
That was the most, the best memory, but also it wasn't just because beating Ohio State for me. It was because of like during that season how much adversity I had to face internally that nobody really knew about. And I wasn't really able to play the same as I played at the beginning of the season because of playing through a little bit of injury. Mm-hmm. And getting to that moment, you know what I'm saying, fighting every day, but also like, no, I want to lead too. Like I want, having moments where we losing to Michigan State and, we made like me, Aiden, Andrew Vistardis, Hassan Haskins, like we pulled like a team meeting. Like it was like after we lost to Michigan State, we had like a team meeting. It was just us. We was in the team meeting room, and I just remember going one by one, just, each guy, each captain kind of letting it be known, what this team meant to them, and also, stating the facts of like, we ain't get the job done, but at the end of the day, like everything is in front of us. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like it's about us moving forward, and we the ones that got to move forward. No coaches, players, like we the ones that got to move this train forward to get where we want to go. And then after those moments, moving forward. I just remember playing Penn State. I remember just all those gritty games that in that season that led to Ohio State, and all just the animosity and all of the energy that led to that game. For me, dude, it's like my whole life I've seen my family lose to these dudes since forever. Like the last time, we beat them, like, you know what I'm saying? It almost was like sanctions or something. I think it was like it was a sanction year in Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really mean a lot. But like now it's like, after losing all those times, it's like, this is our time now. This is a new opportunity. This is just a blessing to be in this situation. And then going into that game, I remember it was a moment, and I'll even break it down to a moment because it was a moment. Coming out of halftime, it was 14-13. They got the ball going down. Like it's a little bit of momentum. If they score this touchdown, then the game is kind of going to change a little bit because the momentum was kind of shifting back and forth. I remember it was 3rd and 3. It was 3rd and 3. They lined up in a 2x2 formation.
Do you ever get blown away by the memory of like knows the weather, the wind volume, the temperature, right?
Yeah. Nah, definitely.
It's beautiful. 3rd and 3.
3rd 3, 2x2. They came out like a single back, a home look, and we was in a one linebacker box, so it was a 5 down. It was a one backer box, and I had the A gap to ball. So as I'm in my stands, I just see the demeanor of the running back, and I see what's going on, and I see how the game is going, and I'm like, they about to run the ball right here. Like in my head before the play, they about to run the ball right here. And then like the play snap, and I just took off like it was a blitz. Dipped my shoulder, got a TFL. They had, you know what I'm saying? It had to be a change of downs. They wasn't gonna go for it, you know what I mean? But that moment there, leading to that win, the stack, you know what I'm saying? On the sideline, man, we got it. Because it's like, when you lose to somebody for so long.
Yes.
It's just so much it's just so much energy that is, you have to really, like, it's in your preparation, you got to really visualize yourself winning. And when you can't visualize yourself winning, a lot of times, years past, you get to the most adverse moment against the biggest team and everything fall apart because of the preparation beforehand, not really trusting the process of everyone trusting each other, everybody, players, coaches, everybody on one accord. So, like, that moment leading into, you know what I'm saying, getting that victory, finishing it out, leading to, leaving in Michigan, continuing to hold it down and continuing to grow as a team and continuing to just do things that we go to heights we never went to, continuing to, like, win Big Ten championships and now to get a natty. I mean, honestly, it's It's a beautiful thing, dude. It's a beautiful thing for sure. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I would say, like, on those comments that you shared and kind of where you concluded, we've heard some of your teammates who were a class or two underneath you say, that's when things changed mentally.
Yeah.
Like, once that game happened, we're like, well, there's no one we can't beat.
No doubt.
How does it feel going back on campus now? You're a few years removed, got your bell rung a couple years at the highest that you could play at. Congratulations on that. What a beautiful life. What a beautiful gift, right?
No doubt.
Which you've earned.
Yes, sir.
What does it feel like to go back on campus today compared to when you were leaving campus for the first time?
Energy is just different. Like,
talk about that.
It's different energy. It's a lot more places to go. One of my favorite smoothie spots.
It's like when you win, all of a sudden there's everything, right? It's Disney World.
One of my favorite smoothie spots, this place called Playa Bowl. Got acai bowls, everything. They put it on the corner. And me and my wife were just talking about it because she's from Ann Arbor. I'm like, this is where Blimpie Burger used to be. Like, right on that corner, right by Brown Jug. I'm like, that's the perfect spot to franchise Playa Bowl right there, honestly.
Wait, Naya, are you going to be at the camp tomorrow?
I'm going to be there.
Girl, you're going to... So, there's a Playa Bowl right next to my house.
Yeah.
On Telegraph.
Oh, in Nova. The only other...
No, there's one here in Bloomfield.
They made another one? Okay.
I'm bringing you Playa Bowl tomorrow.
Come on, let's get it.
Atlas and I are bringing you Playa Bowl.
Let's get it.
It's like...
So they just opened that one too, huh?
Yeah, they just opened...
Because it was just one in Michigan at first.
Telegraph and 15th at Maple.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I got you.
Okay,
I got you tomorrow morning.
Appreciate you, dude.
I'll message you and I'll get you in order. Yeah, it's like people think like all of a sudden like the zip code's more valuable because Playa Bowl opened.
Man. That's funny. But that's like just like moving forward too, just the energy. You got Valor, you got like these beautiful locations to like train.
Man.
And then it's just like the aura, of the students, the aura of the facility. It's a lot of trust, and it's a lot more trust. You know what I'm saying? It's just, everybody trusting everybody, you know what I mean? It's just like the energy, the vibes, like it's definitely, I ain't never seen it before like this, and I like it a lot. I love it, honestly. I love how Ann Arbor, just the energy and the vibes. It's good for sure.
I want to take a couple steps back. I really wanted to talk about this award, your sophomore season. Do you know what award I'm going to mention? It's okay. You have a few awards. So. You received the Blue Collar Hardest Worker Award.
Oh yeah. You talking about Michigan? Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, go ahead.
I love awards like that. Definitely. We see all these, and I think that's another thing that's missing. So I'm gonna just rabbit hole rant for 30 seconds.
You got it.
But like, you've got more focus. I mean, Johnny, you got to do something about this in your space now. Like, you got to talk about people about this. Like, you've got 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th in place awards and ribbons. You got most valuable person, right? Offensive player, defensive player, most valuable person. And no one is talking about like the guts, grit, and grind. Like we're all built different. God makes us all different for a reason.
Definitely.
I'm not saying that attitude and effort doesn't have a significant impact on where you stand, but where's like the recognition for, man, I had no gas in the tank left when I finished. I left it all on the field. Where's the award and recognition for that? So when I saw that you had that award, I was like, of course he does.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
So yeah, dude, it always was about the work. Like, it's like this switch for me that clicks. Like, when the work start, it's like a whole different, like, it's go time. You know what I mean? Like, not cool guy, good guy, outside of once practice start, like, it's on. You know what I mean? But for me, it's just always like the only way I can get to where I want to go is if I work for it. I was never the best athlete. I was never the fastest guy. Yeah. I was never the most rangy guy. Like, I didn't have the longest arms, longest legs. But like, for me, it's like if I can just stack, if I can just work. If I had that work ethic I can push through anything. If I had that mindset every single day, like, it's no way you can't tell me I'm not gonna get where I dream to go. Having that mindset. So for me, it was always the work. Like, from my freshman year, I remember, You know what I'm saying? Just having the first the first player-led practice and almost getting into a fight just because my blood boiling that much. You know what I mean? Just that's how bad I want to work, you know? Like going to my sophomore year, like that's all I had, you know, like coming off a season where I played mostly special teams. Going into that year, I had it was a competition to, start at the Will linebacker next to Devin Bush. Next to and me and my guy D Gill, that's my dog. We end up splitting reps that year. But it was just like all I had was the work. You know what I mean? No matter, how good I may think I'm doing or thought I did, like I gotta work the next day. I gotta keep going because that's the only way, I'm gonna get to where I wanna be. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was always the work, dude. It was always that switch that always flipped. Like when it was go mode, it's go mode. You know what I mean? Like it was always that. So like I guess like, and honestly too, I could tell you this too. Like that award, it definitely meant a lot to me in ways because I always had it in my locker at Michigan. It just was like that force of like, that edge for me is like I always gotta be that guy. I always gotta be the worker. Like I always gotta be, the worker for myself too. You know what I'm saying? But also as a leader, like that's what is motivating for others is that energy, that aura, that blessing that I have to be able to work my butt off every day and keep going, even when you get to week 13, 14, you know what I'm saying? That in college, that'd be the Big Ten championship or Ohio State and NFL. That's, it's 6-7 more games. So, you know what I'm saying? So getting to that mode is like, that's the time then to really turn up the notch because that's when everybody around you is kind of just like, you know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of what I live by. Always was just, instilled to me by my dad, by my older brother, by my mom. Like that's just what I knew. That's the only way I knew.
As you think about how you've evolved, not just as a football player, but let's say as a teammate, what would you say is dynamically different about you today in the locker room or in practice compared to finishing this iconic career at St. Mary's Prep, incredible career in Ann Arbor at Michigan? What's different about you today in the locker room and as a teammate?
Yeah, as a teammate in the locker room, I would say like you just it's more in ways like leading. Like I lead more, I would say by example, but leading by example for me is just like at the end of the day, letting my light shine, dude. Being me, working. You know what I'm saying? Like coming to work every single day ready, coming to work every single day ready to give it my all, ready to get better. And just keep stacking, you know what I'm saying? Because like in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? Especially, and I'll touch on this, especially, being undrafted, every year is a new year. Like it ain't, every year you got to remake the team. Like every year you got to go earn it again. So like the mindset in the locker room now is like, every year is like, okay, how can I get myself that edge? Okay, every year it's like, okay, how can I put myself, how can I set myself apart by the work? But not only just the work, knowing when to balance the work and being able to turn it off and dial it back and like chill, because you got to be able to peak at the right time. So like right now it's really just, me letting my light shine, me being who I am as a person, and also just like leading by example. And what I say is leading by example is just me being me every single day, coming to work the right way, trying to get better, you know what I'm saying, having my routine before practice every single day and just holding it on to that and letting that be where my confidence comes from is the routine that I have and what I build every single day, how I stack rather than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like letting, you know what I'm saying, who me be me and what got me to this point, keep continuing to drive me and also evolving. So it was a loaded question and I kind of answered it loaded a little bit.
No, I like that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, more is more. Yeah.
No doubt.
I mean, I think the blessing we have is, wrapping up our second year hosting the podcast with incredible stories like yours, is that really where I think the energy and excitement is still in the younger student athlete. And we're thankful for that. That's who we're attempting to communicate with, right? We want Atlas Amezcua, who finished playing middle linebacker in 8th grade at Detroit Country Day, to look at Josh Ross and say, man, when Mr. Ross said this, and this, man, I'm going to keep that, right? I want him to listen to you and your brother tomorrow and walk away. And when he's 24, say, man, when I was at 14, I went to the Ross Brothers camp, and Dad, I still remember this, and to share those micro lessons with his teammates.
No doubt.
When he goes back this fall, right?
That's everything. That's
everything. That is everything.
Yes, sir.
That is everything. I quit football in college my junior year, didn't play my senior year, and it's like I have nightmares about it. Like, I have bad dreams. Like, my family's like, you are screwed up. I'm like, no, really. Like, I have bad dreams about that. It's football is a special sport, right?
No doubt.
Talk a little bit about the difference in the intensity today compared to that last season in Ann Arbor.
As far as like what? As far as intensity with the day-to-day? Like, what you mean by that?
All of it.
Yeah.
The preparation, mental, physical, nutrition, environment.
Yeah. I would say this, like, as far as intensity, like, you are who you are, but at the end of the day, like, the game is really mostly mental, honestly. Regardless on what people say, like, you can be the strongest, it's really, like, of course you got to be an athlete, but it's really mental. It's really that mental game. So that is where the emphasis for me has been, especially throughout my career, especially now, is just like the mental game, dude. Like, peaking at the right time, putting yourself in positions, not only, by what you do, but also the just habits, dude. Like, different ways to, make it, like, just different ways to stimulate your brain, different ways of, making yourself better as a person. Like, I would say this, and it was, I was talking to a linebacker at Michigan yesterday. I went to Michigan with Brad Hawkins. He took me through some DB work. And I was just letting him know, like, one of the biggest things I could give, somebody that's going to college or even somebody in high school, the biggest piece of advice that I can get, dude, is really, like, start working to have a routine. Mm-hmm. Start working to time block. Start working. It don't even got to be nothing huge or big, but just, like, work to, at this time, I'm going to do this. Like, at this time, from 1 to 2, like, I'm just going to think about this. Like, and not just, like, and I'm saying this from experience, like, just maneuvering through, you know what I mean? The better I feel like you can have a plan of what's next, the better you can stack days and become who you want to be, want to become with that plan, with that script. And it ain't always gonna go by plan. Stuff happens. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody perfect. But just having intentionality of, okay, during this time, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna think about this. Like, during this time, I'm gonna look over this, like, to let everything flow better in your life, because it gets hard as you get to an adulthood. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. It's not easy at all. You know what I'm saying? So having that structure within yourself, you're the only person that's gonna structure yourself. And ain't nobody gonna give you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you old now. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gonna give you structure.
I do know that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
It's just the reality. So that's what I would say for sure.
I like what you said. It reminded me of when Anthony Pittman was here a year ago. He spoke about how success leaves clues, and
I love that.
And because success leaves clues, he really became very intentional about writing down his intentions and commitments. So if he learned that James Ross said these 3 things had a significant impact on my ability to perform at linebacker, Anthony would write them down and then make them a part of his written plan and commitments.
No doubt.
Right? And so I like how you're saying the same thing, just slightly different words of, hey, I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to build my daily playbook to say, I'm going to do this when I wake up, this at 10, this at 1, this at 3. And now I'm not left to my emotions or my feelings throughout the day. That's what I said I would do. So now I'm a man of my word and I'm going to do that.
Exactly.
Does that sound right?
Exactly. No, that's definitely right. And it don't got to start huge. It don't got to start, I'm about to plan on my day from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It don't got to start like that. It can really start by just like, what's something new I want to learn? Like, take out the football part. Like,
yes,
during 1 to 2, like 1 to 2 p.m., okay, I'm going to look over, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go on the computer. I'm going to do some research on this, and this, just to, like, gain more knowledge in that area. You know what I mean? But just as minute and detailed as that, and we're not perfect. It may be days where, I slip. I'm not holding on to my schedule, but getting back to that. You know what I'm saying? Getting back to that time. Getting back to where you know what I mean, where you started, for sure.
So I know one of your brother's teammates was Jake Butt. And Jake Booty always talks about the fact that the great ones really do extra, and not by luck, but by commitment, right? They just commit to extra. What would you say are the one or two things you wish you had started doing sooner, extra, while you were still in high school? And this is really for our young student athletes that are going to listen. Like, where should they do extra? Where do you wish you had done extra?
So I'm gonna be real. Like, I wish
Please.
I read more. I wish I read books more. Like, I wish I read more. Not saying I didn't read a lot. Like, of course, we was assigned books. I'm gonna keep it real. It was some I read. It was some I spark noted. That's just the reality. It's okay. It's all good.
We're going to talk about Lord of the Flies when we're done.
Oh, yeah. I read that one.
That's right. Everyone reads that one.
I read that one. But honestly, just like, I wish I read more self-improvement books.
Okay.
That's something I'm huge into now, is like reading a lot of self-improvement books. Kind of, hearing it from somebody else's lens. It really be similar messages, but just hearing a message in a different way through somebody else's lens, is everything, dude. And I feel like in today's world, being present is really challenging. I mean, sometimes it's really, really challenging for me too. Like, I mean, I'm not that old. I'm still young. Yeah. So I feel like, being able to read a book for real, specifically like self-improvement books or any books, but for me, it's self-improvement books. Like, I feel like that really like forces you to be present and where you at. And it's a lot of screen time. It's a lot of phone. Me and Johnny were just having this conversation other day. Like, it's a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what we in. But honestly, that's something, I wish I would have did a little bit more, just because, especially today's age, I think kids definitely should hear that, just because it's very, very hard. It's harder to be present than it is to not be present, to be honest, just because of how much technology we have. Like, just scrolling on Instagram, like seeing other people, very, very challenging to do that. And I think reading helps.
Yeah, sure. We call that the white noise. It's just, it's just everywhere. Yeah. And it does prevent us in pre-fatherhood. What a great thing for you to be intentional about, so that once Josh 2.0 and James 4.0 show up, because you're probably going to have two boys, and y'all are going to have the fourth.
We'll see. We're not going to talk about that now, but
after a great 10+ year career,
no doubt.
What a great habit to not have to form then,
No doubt.
and to form at such a young age. So good for you for being cognizant and aware of that. I know that we're coming up on time, and I want to be very respectful, because you've got one of the camps that I think it's 3rd through 8th graders, right?
Yes, sir.
That Josh and his brother have one of the top camps that people are excited about in the summer of 2024. It's happening tomorrow at his home field at St. Mary's Prep. Super excited for that. Noon to 3. Has powered by Net Sports Management, and really excited for the work Johnny and his team are doing there on behalf of player representation, player advocacy, player stewardship. But you got a big day tomorrow, and you got a big day Sunday. You got a big day Sunday too. So I know that we're coming up on time, and you and your brother are hosting one of the most exciting camps that are happening this summer in Southeast Michigan, the Josh Brothers Camp. And I love it that you're hosting it on your home field at St. Mary's Prep. I mean, this camp is powered by a lot of great organizations, but leading in the front, no surprise, is my boy Johnny Hamoud's professional sports representation firm, Net Sports Management. So to Johnny and his entire team, congrats. They do incredible work in that space. And so I know you've got a big day tomorrow with the camp. I know you've got a big day Sunday. What I'm curious about is, it seems that kind of like the momentum of young men entering the game of football is slowing down, and it's for a variety of reasons. But if we have 10, 12, 14-year-old men listening to this show in a few months, is there a message that you'd want to share with them who are thinking about playing football for the first time? Is there a message that you'd want to share with those young men as a message of encouragement and inspiration?
I would say to those young men that football is the ultimate team sport. And, I would just say it like this, like what football has done to my family, what it has showed through, through the lens of the game, love for the game, just morals of honestly like how to be a man in society, how to be a man working with a team, how to be a leader, how to lead by example, how to lead vocally, how to show more than you speak. And you know what I'm saying? And vice versa in certain ways, how to learn from mistakes and fight through adversity. One thing I like just add to that point, like football, taught so much to me, but to young people, like just push through it, just go. You know what I'm saying? Like football, not only like the biggest thing it teaches is pushing through adversity when things get tough, when things get hard, whether if you're working out or you're in a game. Preparing for something, and it's not a lot of opportunities, it's not a lot of game days, it's not a lot of flash, it's more preparation than it is game. But that preparation that you build day by day, that stack leading to those games, is what prepares you to be the best man in society, to be a leader, and to honestly like grow and be a great teammate, be a great businessman, be a great, whatever you want to be in life through the lens of football because of the morals that it teaches you. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, it's moving more to a like we talked about earlier, a more selfish space. So just keeping in mind, like, and knowing that, holding others above yourself sometimes is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to work in a team, being able to sacrifice, being able to, do things that nobody is willing to do to be the best you can be when it's not seen right away. I think that faith, that work that's brewed in the game of football is unmatched. And I whoever is starting to play football, I commend you for sure.
And I love that message because it leads us to this last topic that you and I said we would check in on. And the incredible work that Curtis Blackwell II has been doing with Sound Mind, Sound Body, celebrating 20 years. This organization, I mean, I think in Southeast Michigan, again, I don't, I said this earlier to you, Naya and Johnny, I'm like, I think like the oxygen this organization gets is just not acceptable. I'm like, why do more people not know about the great work this organization does beyond the game of football? So founded in 2004, the program mission is to improve annual student persistence rates, increase high school graduation rates, and increase enrollment in programs of post-secondary education. Nowhere in the mission does it say football. And the only thing I hear people say is football. And I'm like, that's why this organization deserves 100x the amount of oxygen, recognition, and funding and resources and partners and supporters that it's getting today. Definitely. And it came up casually between us, and you're like, man, I went every year. Can you just touch a little bit on what an organization like Sound Mind, Sound Body, how they had an impact on your life?
Man, I mean, so like I told you before, like I started going to Sound Mind, Sound Body from 6th grade up. And the impact was tremendous. I mean, just being, honestly, not like just being in a platform that was highly competitive, some of the best athletes around, being real young, and kind of like, thinking you the alpha of your grade, your class, and then you get around other people and they like that.
You a big deal.
Yeah, and I just, like I was voicing to you before, one of my first, opportunities going to get somebody older, Tyrone Wheatley, he played tight end, he played lineman now, you know what I mean? Yeah. Getting a one-on-one rep, the competition that was involved in that, the anxiety, the heartbeat before that rep, and then, doing my thing, whatever. I think that was everything, but more than just the football side, just the lessons. The NFL guys coming back, talking to the players, the lessons we learned, you know what I'm saying? The experiences with other players and the friendships built. It's definitely always been a great platform, and definitely, continuing to give back to the community and continue to like let their light shine as a platform to the community is pivotal for sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, look, it's been a gift to talk to you today, and obviously to get to understand your story more. Outside of the fact that I owe you Pliable tomorrow, and exceptionally feel blessed that Naya joined us today.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes,
I
sir.
know with the recent wedding and so many great things going on right now, you're super busy. Calendars are packed. But I'm excited for the camp tomorrow. It really was, I would say, it was very rewarding for me to hear someone as young as you talk about legacy as often as you did, and the significance of respecting the fact that you are representing the name on your back. And you're the first one in 100 plus episodes that really hammered the significance of that name on the back of your jersey. So, you know, kudos to your parents, kudos to your brother. I cannot wait to meet him tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
But it was a gift to have you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for having me, dude.
Yeah.
This is amazing, for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.